Guys, what's up? It's Josh with the Governor's Bulldogs coming to you on a Sunday to talk a little bit about the Georgia Tech game and a little bit about the SEC championship game. There's not too much I want to say about the Charlotte game. Like, Georgia came out, did what they were supposed to do, got the starters out of there. Everybody healthy for the most part. I had no problem with what Georgia did or the score or anything like that. And we got the young guys in the second half. Really started bringing them in the first half. Got those guys some experience. So I was totally fine with the Charlotte game. It's exactly what I expected to happen. I wish the second string would have scored in the second half, but, I'm not going to get picky on that. We got out of there healthy, got done playing way before Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech goes on to lose to Pitt. And the things I'm going to say about the Georgia Tech game, the reason that I feel confident in Georgia, it's not because of what Georgia Tech did last night. It's more of the way that Georgia Tech looked against Boston College. Like, I think that Pitt's a respectable team, at least as far as the ACC goes. Like, they're not sorry. They're not a total joke. But Boston College is a total joke. And how Georgia Tech played against them was more telling to me than how they played against Pitt. I was telling my mom, she picks the games or whatever before game day in that bracket that ESPN does, and she was asking me about the Pitt Georgia Tech game, and I said, I'm telling you right now that Pitt's going to win that game because Georgia Tech's going to be looking ahead to Georgia, and just based off of like the body language that I saw. The way that the players were looking on the sideline, how pissed off Brent Key was, that's exactly what it looked like to me. It looked like Georgia Tech had Georgia on their mind, and they got down early to Pitt, and Pitt was able to make Georgia Tech play out of their comfort zone and play from behind. And I expect Georgia to copy that game plan. But it's not as much the Pitt game as it was how Georgia Tech looks against Boston College. I think that Georgia is much improved from a year ago, and I think Georgia Tech has taken a step back, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, we can't get carried away. Like, Georgia Tech is still going to come and play their ass off in Atlanta. Like, this is their Super Bowl. Brent Key and these players hate Georgia more than any other team that they've played so far this season. They've had this game circled for a year. This means everything to those guys. So we got to be ready to play. So I'm just going to tell you flat out, like, I expect Georgia to dominate this game and win by 14 or more points. And I expect us to try and copy the game plan that Pitt had. Like, get up on these boys early, get a couple of stops, use our offensive line and wear their ass down, man. Like, I expect Georgia to be able to run the ball on these guys. Get the ball to Branch, get the ball to Noah Thomas. Like, the Mike Bobo haters, man, like, you guys should have nothing left to say after this season. Like, this guy has called some incredible games, has been really creative this season. Like, Georgia is really hard to defend. Like, you can just tell that other teams' defenses are frustrated when they have to play Georgia because we can run and we can pass. Like, Georgia can do it all. But I expect our O-line to take over this game by the second half and to really, really wear Georgia Tech down. This game might be close in the first half, but I expect in the second half for Georgia to pull away. And I'm going to take the Dogs. Give me the Dogs 41-20, something around there. And a couple more things. Like, I feel confident enough in our defense. Like, if you've watched this channel, like, going back weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I would always say, like, I'm worried about which version of Georgia is going to show up. But we've seen good version of Georgia now since, there were some spots here and there in the Florida game, but really since the fourth quarter against Ole Miss, like, I haven't been concerned like that, where I'm sitting there having to guess, like, man, which version of Georgia is going to show up today? For the most part, like, Georgia has been improving since that point in our season. And I've seen a lot of improvement, man, from Chris Cole, Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones, and Elijah Griffin. I want to touch on the Chris Cole thing because with C.J. Allen being out and Chris Cole being able to actually play inside linebacker, he looks really comfortable doing that. Like, I think, this is just my opinion, but I think, like, at the beginning of the season, we were asking Chris Cole to do way too much instead of simplifying the game for him. And I just don't think I just don't think he had the game experience yet to be able to do all that. Like, he looks much more comfortable now, especially in that specific role, than he did at the beginning of the season. And you can tell, like, watching him play. Like, I just kind of sat there for parts of the Charlotte game and followed Chris Cole on defensive plays. Like, the guy is so athletic. He can make up so much ground so quickly. There were 2 tackles in that game where he dove out and he tripped the guy up by his shoelaces. And I was sitting there watching the play, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to be able to get this guy down. And he got him down. Really talented player. I'm really excited to see him grow here at Georgia. And I think he's getting more comfortable and more confident now that we're 11 games into this season, about to be 12. Ellis Robinson had a big pick against Charlotte, and that's somebody who's improved too. Like, I remember watching him in the Tennessee and Alabama games, and I'm like, man, this guy is a disaster. And he's really came on as of late. And DeMello Jones too. Like, DeMello Jones stepped up and really helped solidify, like, those 3 cornerback spots for us. That rotation is very good. And that just kind of leads me into the SEC championship discussion. This is something that we got to talk about and something we got to be prepared for. I was watching SEC Nation before our game this Saturday, and Laura Rutledge was doing a piece on the SEC championship. And believe it or not, Georgia has a 60% chance. This is what she said. Georgia has a 60% chance to make the SEC championship. So that's better than 50. Like, there's a better than 50% chance that we're going. The simplest way to put it is that if Alabama loses to Auburn, we're going. If Texas A&M loses to Texas, we're going. But based off of what she was saying, there were some other ways that we could go as well. Some really strange tiebreaker situations, which I'm not going to get into. I didn't really understand it when she was explaining it. But I've seen crazier things happen than this the last weekend of the season. Like, listen, I don't think Auburn's going to beat Alabama. Like, if I had to bet on one of these 2 games as to which team was going to lose, I would pick Texas to upset Texas A&M. But, man, I've seen some really strange things happen at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I know that sounds cliche and everybody says that, but I've watched it too much. I've seen it happen too many times. They should have beat them there the last time that they played there. Nick Saban's last year. When Milroe hit the guy in the back of the end zone on the last play to send Alabama to the SEC championship, they were able to beat us and get one of the spots in the 14 playoff in 2023. So, I don't know. Like, Auburn doesn't look good on offense. I mean, they played that true freshman this past week. I wasn't impressed with him. I mean, he looks like Bambi. The first time Bambi goes out on the ice and he's slipping and sliding and falling. And that was against, who did they play? Mercer or somebody like that? He didn't look good. I mean, against them. How do you think he's going to look against the Alabama defense? But, man, I don't know. Turnovers, muffed punts, missed field goals. I mean, Alabama ain't exactly looked great either the past 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, they looked good yesterday against whoever they played, beating them 56-0. But that was a nobody team, a nobody school with no talent. So that'll be an interesting to watch. I'm going to be watching that. And then Texas A&M and Texas, to be honest with you guys, like, this is a rivalry that I don't know as much about. I didn't ever follow the Big 12 like that. Like, I know clearly these 2 schools absolutely hate each other. Based off what I have seen from A&M so far this season, I don't think Texas is going to beat them unless Texas A&M plays the way that they did against South Carolina. I think Texas is going to have a hard time beating them. But I don't know, man. Like, strange things happen on the road. Like, if Texas A&M goes out there and makes mistakes, turns the ball over, stuff like that, I mean, anything can happen, really, in both of these games. But I'm leaning more towards Texas upsetting Texas A&M. Auburn's got a really good defense, but I just do not think Auburn has what it takes on offense to score on that Alabama defense. So unless special teams help, momentum, the crowd, man, I don't know. They're going to need it all to beat Alabama. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. We got to come ready to play against Georgia Tech. We've got to use our offensive line. Got to be able to run the ball, obviously. play good defense. Like Georgia Tech might go down and score a little bit in the first half. I expect it to be mostly a Georgia crowd. We got to be loud. We got to impact the game. But I think once the defense gets adjusted to what Tech is doing, I think we'll put the clamps on them and put a stop to that. And hopefully our offense will be rolling on Friday. And then we just got to be prepared, man. Like, it's hard to say either of these teams, Auburn beat Bama or Texas beat Texas A&M. But, the chances of both of them winning, I mean, like she said, a 60% chance that Georgia's going. So, and then let's get into this. Actually, let's get into this. Could Georgia beat Alabama or Texas A&M? And who would we rather play? That is a good question, because looking at Alabama play farther down the road into the season after they beat us at home, like, I think the way that our cornerbacks have improved, the way that our offensive line has improved, the way that our defensive line has improved, Gunner's been getting better. I think if Georgia got matched up against them again, I like our corners to be able to hold up this time around. I mean, we did a good job in the second half the first time we played, and we were still young and inexperienced. We've been playing much better as of late. The O-line's been playing much better as of late. Like, I think we were rotating guys. Ernest Green wasn't back yet when we played Alabama. We had Gaston out there for a while. We had Hughley out there at right tackle for a while. So I like the matchup, Georgia against Bama in the SEC championship. Like, I think we can beat them. It's just a matter of will we. Like, that's the whole thing with Alabama. Like, it's not, can Georgia do it? Does Georgia have the talent to do it? Does Georgia have the coaches to do it? It's like, bro, like, you just finally got to do it. And I think that Georgia-Alabama game, like, it's going to break. And it's going to go Georgia's way eventually. I just don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if that'll be under Kirby Smart or not. I honestly don't. You guys, if you've watched my videos, you know that I'm beyond sick and tired of this Alabama topic. I hate losing to them. I can't stand it. But it eventually is going to go our way. It's just a matter of when. And, like, the team has to go out there and seize the moment and take victory from Alabama. Like, they're not going to give you the game. You know they're going to play up for us. So I do like the Georgia-Alabama matchup. It's just a matter of will Georgia be able to do it. Now, can Georgia beat Texas A&M? That one I'm a little bit more worried about because of the mobile quarterback. That dude can really run around and make some plays. That makes me nervous for our defense, because if our defense starts getting frustrated and able to get him on the ground, I've watched that too many times with mobile quarterbacks with Georgia's defense. So the Texas A&M game gives me a little bit more worry. But then again, like, look at the way that they played against South Carolina. Like, if South Carolina can do that to them, then surely we can do that to them. So, both games, I think Georgia can win. Like, if you go out there and you play your best football, man, yes, I think Georgia can beat anybody in the country right now. We have drastically improved since the Ole Miss game. And that's the key to the season, man. Like, just keep getting better. Like, steamroll Georgia Tech and just dominate that game. Like, Georgia is so clearly the better team to me. I think Georgia Tech is taking a step back from where they were at last year. I think Georgia's gotten better than what they were last year. So I expect Georgia to dominate that game and just continue improving. Can't have any injuries. Can't let Georgia Tech stick around in the game for too long, gain any confidence. But Georgia should go out there and handle business. I expect them to win by 14 or more. So we'll talk more about this as we get closer to it, man. And the SEC championship, like, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Like, Georgia's got a very strong chance of going to that game. Which one of these teams is more likely to lose, man? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. But don't be surprised if Georgia ends up in Atlanta next week. All right, y'all have a good week. Go Dogs.